FINRA SIPC. Now, here's your host for Financially Speaking, Certified Financial Advisor, Jim Taunton.
Hello and welcome to Financially Speaking. Jim Taunton here, your host for the next 30 minutes. Glad you joined me. And I hope you'll be glad you join me when it's all said and done. I have some information. I'd rather have a call from you, something that you think it's important or pertinent to your situation personally. And the number is 252-561-TALK, 561-TALK, 561-8255. And as always, if you call in with a question, your name goes into the drawing for the Dinner for Two at Altavola. I'll even pay the tip. Great place to eat. I eat there at least once per week. Locally owned place. Great menu. And again, 561-8255. We gave away a dinner about 2 weeks ago, I believe. Sent out the card. And hoping that individual will enjoy that. Merry Christmas, by the way. We still say Merry Christmas around here. And it's actually coming more back into vogue. Woke is out and real is in. Yes, Lord have mercy. What in the world culture and society will go through, the gyrations, is absolutely incredible. But man, we're in December. We're actually in the Christmas month. It's awesome. I hope you're ready because it's coming, and then it'll be over in a flash. But I am going to talk to you about a couple of cases. I've told you before that fodder for my conversations on the program come typically from real life cases, real life clients, and tonight is no different. But I just didn't have a call from you. So again, before we go to a quick break, 561-8255 is the number. Call during the break. We'll take your call first when we come back. And I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes.
Aiden Golf and Country Club invites you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates. Low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Aiden Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Aiden Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
Your host for the next 30 minutes. Actually, no, we're more like 26 minutes now. And we were having a little technical difficulty, but I think it may be resolved, but I won't know until I hear my producer's voice for sure. I wasn't hearing anything from studio, but all of a sudden I could hear the break. William, are you there?
I am. Can you read me?
Yes, I can hear you through my earpieces now, so we do have that resolved. So give me a call. Love to have a phone call. Matter of fact, I have left a lot of free time for phone calls tonight. So if you don't call, I may have to sing Jingle Bells or something tonight. And that's not going to be good at all. The number is 561-TALK, 561-8255. Call me with a financially related question. Your name goes into the drawing for the dinner for two at Antavola. I'll even pay the tip. And there you have that. All right. We've had a blah market, stock market for, over a month now. And there's hardly any good reason for it, to be honest with you. I mean, the earnings, it was the best earnings season in years, literally. The best earnings season in years. And we did have a pretty good Thanksgiving week for the market, but, we're still below highs and waiting for that Santa Claus rally to kick in. And then maybe a January effect to start the new year. That would be great. But I just think the market just puts too much emphasis on whether or not the Fed's going to lower rates. I do think lowering rates is certainly back on the table. I think the chances are probably 75, 80% that they will lower rates again in December, and they might do it again in January because the jobs report was fairly weak. And the two mandates of the Fed is jobs and inflation. So they're going to have to lower rates, I believe. We'll see. If they do, I think we'll get that Santa Claus rally and January effect that we're looking for. NVIDIA right now is the bellwether of the market. And NVIDIA hit a high of like 207. Currently about 181, I believe. So we're well below the high. And it's just been buffeted back and forth, back in the 170s and back to 180s. And I think where NVIDIA goes is where the market goes right now. And there's good reason for that. NVIDIA is a monopoly. They own AI. They provide the GPUs to power AI, and their CEO and founder Jensen Huang, he came out and said they had $500 billion of orders backlog. That is almost inconceivable. I can't wrap my mind around that. $500 billion in orders for their GPUs. At least 2 years of backlog. And of course, what's going to happen, people are ordering the current generation GPUs from NVIDIA. But, if it's a 2-year backlog, by the time they fill orders a year from now, they're going to have the next generation GPUs they're filling with. They actually have 2 more generations of GPUs they can come out with, and then that's it. There won't be any more significant improvements because they are putting so many transistors on their chips now. I'm talking millions of transistors on a single chip, which is, again, I can't even conceive of it. But, they can't get any smaller with those. It would go any smaller, they're going to be at the atomic level. They would have to split atoms, and there's no way to split atoms to create transistors. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but all indications are you hold NVIDIA basically about to the end of the decade, at least 2 or 3 more years anyway. And, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So we'll see where it all goes. But let me talk to you about the cases. And again, anytime you're in the program, pick up the phone and call me. I would love for somebody to interrupt the monologue. My number is 561-TALK, 561-8255. Call me with a financially related question. I'll try to answer it. But maybe more importantly, your name goes into the drawing for the dinner for two at Antavola. I'll even pay the tip. If you haven't eaten there, you need to eat there. Man, they have the best chicken corn chowder and the best seafood bisque around. along with everything else they make there. It's just fabulous. Just fabulous. Okay. First thing, I have a client who's been a client of our firm, 20 years plus. He was an employee of Procter & Gamble, and he retired from Procter & Gamble. And Procter & Gamble, the 100% of their profit-sharing plan, which was the retirement plan for the employees, was in Procter & Gamble stock. So when clients retired, they could have the option, of course, they could leave it where it was in the current plan, or they could roll it out with an advisor and still continue to hold the stock, or they could have the advisor sell the stock and diversify the portfolio. Now, most advisors prefer diversification, as I do. But I had one client who, because he'd worked there so long and really Procter & Gamble stock had treated him so well, and it has done well over time, that he held on to it. And this is a significant amount of stock, believe me. And I would talk to him occasionally, over the course of years about, selling at least some of it, diversifying. And it just so happens in the last couple of years, P&G stock hasn't done well at all. It's negative, actually, for the last year and a half at least. And, he kind of saw the handwriting on the wall, and he remembers a time that was probably 20 years ago. P&G stock was around 118, and some news hit the fan. And now the company wasn't any different, but there was news, okay? Sometimes stocks move because of news, not because of fundamentals. Some news hit the fan, and P&G went down to $57 from $118. And there just were a lot of Procter & Gamble employees that panicked at that time. And I had one I was talking to. I had actually already rolled his stock out, and I'd been talking to him a long time about diversifying it. And after it just bottomed, it just over several days. I mean, it was very fast. It was impossible to do anything quick enough to save any money. He walked into my office, and he was white as a sheet of paper that I'm holding. And I said, "Look, it's really too late to do anything. We need to hold it and hope it recovers." And which he did, and it did over time recover, but it did take a while. Sure did. This gentleman continued to hold his stock as well, and over the last 20 years, it has certainly recovered. But after this downturn recently, he just didn't want to go through that again. So he's opted to have that majority of that PG stock sold and diversified in an advisory account. And the advantage of using the advisory account for that is that these transactions don't cost anything. All you ever pay in an advisory account, it's also called a wrap fee account, is a fee. It's a percentage of the assets in the account. And I am extremely transparent with information. My wife thinks I'm too transparent, even about personal information. But I am transparent because I want people to know and understand and know that I tell the truth about things. I'm very, very high on truth. You can't make good decisions without knowing the truth. And when I handle an advisor account, I'm going to tell you on the air right here, right now. Okay, real time. All right, it is Thursday, December the 4th at 6:15. When I handle an advisory account, here's what I charge. Okay, the advisory fee, if you're under $1 million, is 1%. From $1 million to $2 million, it's 0.75% or 75 basis points. When we get over $2 million, it drops to 0.5%, which is 50 basis points. That's the annual amount. Everybody's listening that's wondering, Google it. Just put in Google, what is the average advisory fee in the U.S., and see what it tells you. And you'll see that what we charge clients to help them with their advisory account is considerably less than average. Considerably. And the reason is, over the years I have developed a very large book of business, and I just don't need to charge a whole lot of percentage when I've got quite a bit of money on the books. And that's just plain and simple. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you that's why we can charge much less on advisory fee than the vast majority of investment firms out there. I'm telling you the truth. Totally transparent. And when in an advisory account, if we sell or buy something, there's no transaction cost whatsoever. A true wrap fee account. And some advisory accounts that are sold as advisory accounts aren't wrap fee accounts. There may still be a ticket charge or some hidden charges for transactions of individual securities, things like that. And not so in our accounts. The advisory account is all that Jim actually gets 93% of the advisory fee. The other 7% of the fee goes to the broker-dealer and or the clearing firm. So, we can do all the transactions we want in there, and it doesn't cost you anything any more than you would ever pay because of the fee. And the fee, by the way, is debited quarterly. So if it's 1%, then it's 1/4 of 1% times the quarter value, and that's debited from your assets. So you'll see it as a transaction, and therefore you know exactly what Jim's being compensated, and you can determine if Jim is a value-added component or not. And my oldest son also works with me, Jameson, and he handles these types of accounts as well. And matter of fact, is doing more and more of it. I don't really need any new business, and more of the new business is he's handling it because he can do the paperwork, and he's smarter than I am, actually. So there you go. But anyway, we have diversified it. Instead of having, 85, 90% of his account in a singular stock, we now almost have, 50 different positions. I manage the managers. I manage the strategists. I don't have to make the tactical decisions, but I do make the strategic decisions. I tell clients that with advisory accounts, the way I approach it is my client is the owner of the team because it's their money. They're hiring a general manager, which is me, to hire and fire players and coaches to put a winning team on the field. And so I will fire coaches or strategists, managers, and move that section of part of the money to another one if need be. Certainly will do that. But I manage the managers. Ultimately, if your general manager is not producing, if it's a football team, the owner's going to fire the general manager. And I understand that if I'm not producing, if I'm not providing a value-added benefit or service to a client or performance, client's going to fire me as well ultimately and move their assets to another advisor. So it would behoove me to make sure that their account grows. So all decisions, all recommendations are coming from the client side of the table for their best interest. I act as a fiduciary with advisory accounts, plain and simple. I am a fiduciary with advisory accounts. All right, let's talk about another case, except that we are halfway through the program. So let's cut to a real quick couple-minute break. Call me during the break. Let me talk to you about something that's important to you. The number is 561-TALK, 561-8255. Again, call. Your name goes into the drawing for the Den of Vitude Antavola. I even pay the tip. See you in 2 minutes.
Aiden Golf and Country Club invites you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates, low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Aiden Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Aiden Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
There we are. William is producing tonight. He's not exactly new to it, but he hasn't done my program. Maybe he's done it once before, so everything has a learning curve. All right. Now let's talk about another case. And this may help you here at the end of the year in particular, because it's related to taxes. All right. Client has a stock position they've owned for several years, and that stock position has appreciated dramatically during that time. There is a pent-up gain in that position of probably $550,000, give or take. And the client is a little concerned about how to get out of the position when the time comes, without paying all those capital gains taxes. Now, I tell clients, paying taxes is not always a bad thing, because that means you've made money. I can tell you how to solve your tax problems. Just don't make money. And I don't mean that to be sarcastic. I mean, be appreciative, be grateful for the fact you made money. But there is something that can be done. Yeah, and this stock is held in an after-tax or non-qualified account. So it would be a capital gains issue if he sold the stock. But this particular individual, it gives a good amount of money to the church they attend. They are tithers, so they give the minimum of 10% to bring that into the storehouse. And then in addition to that, they do some additional giving. But in any case, the suggestion was made that they donate some of that stock to the church as their contribution for the year. it would be a win-win situation. Why, Jim? What does that do? What does that do for them? Well, first of all, if you just donate the stock to the church sells it and gets the proceeds from it. The church is not having to pay tax on the sale of the stock because they're a non-taxable entity. When you transfer it, you're going to get credit for the full fair market value, current value of the stock as a donation. So let's say you donated $50,000 of stock. You would get a write-off on your taxes of $50,000 because that's a donation to a charity. And then when the church sells it, they would not pay tax on it. So you get to give 100% of the value, whereas if you sold the stock first, you would pay the 15% capital gains rate. You would only be able to donate 85% of the fair market value to the church. So it's just a much better situation. And then if you've donated enough stock to cover, say, a year's worth of your donations to the church, then you can take the money you normally would have been paying your donations to the church with and reinvest that back into your investment account. It is a neat proposition. And if you would like to sit down with me and discuss something like that, or anything really financially related, any issue, first meeting with me is absolutely no cost or obligation whatsoever. We just want to talk with you and see if we can be of service to you. My phone number at the office is 252-756-4700, 756-4700. My email is jim@jtauntonfinancial.com, jim@jtauntonfinancial.com. Those of you watching on YouTube, you can see how to spell my name over my shoulder there. And then the website is jtauntonfinancial.com, TAUNTON. Letter J, last name, financial. If you go to the website and you go to the page where the About page, you look at the top, you see the word About, click on it, and it kind of gives you my resume and also Jameson's and Jim, my advisor in Washington, his resume. But about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see a hot link called YouTube. You click on that, and that'll take you directly to my YouTube page. The other option would be to actually pull up YouTube and in the search bar put Financially Speaking NC. Actually, that symbol would probably be more accurate. Put the @ symbol, Financially Speaking NC, and that should take you to my YouTube channel. And when you're there, you can click on the live button about midway down, and you'll see all the shows that I've done on YouTube are archived, which is probably the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know why you'd want to watch these old programs, but they're there. But you can watch on that channel live right now. You could pull it up and see me doing the program. But if you miss one, you can get on there and watch it. So contact me. I'd love to talk with you about this charitable giving thing, or your financial planning, or give you a second opinion on your investment portfolio, whatever you need. We'd love to sit down with you. Merry Christmas to everybody. And we'll see you next week, I'm hoping. And as always, this is Jim Taunton helping you make all of your financial decisions good ones. Good night, everybody.